Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kiara Johnson. I'm here hoping to help you become the artist of your dreams. Today's video is about 5 ways to become a disciplined artist. I just want to give a strong warning. This list is for people who are in their hustling and grind era. If you are a creative and you are just willing to make this artist dream come real for yourself, I believe this list will help you. I will never encourage any unhealthy ways of working. Discipline is just so important in all factors of our lives.
I honestly believe discipline is freedom. When you have discipline, you get what you want. You get what you want.
Discipline is very important because it actually allows us to get what we want. When you're constantly working on something, when you're constantly on that thing for a long period of time, it's gonna compound and we're gonna get that thing eventually. I want you to get that job. I want you to get that gig. I want you to get that client. I want you to thrive. The first way to become a disciplined artist is to not wait for motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but we need to always be working. So we are back again. We're painting today together. Last time when I went to this concert, I did not bring anything I needed. I'm gonna make sure I am bringing everything I need, starting off with our wagon. This is our canvas today. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. This brush I'm gonna use for my wedding painting service tomorrow. It's really big. Check it out. Isn't that huge? I think I have like an hour and a half. Not a good amount of time to do a whole life painting, so we'll do our best. We'll see. We need to always keep our foot on the pedal, and of course we have days where we're not feeling like it, but I want you to think about working on your craft like eating food. Not every day you want to make a huge gourmet meal. You don't always want to break out the cutting board. You don't always want to heat up the stove. You don't always want to cut up the vegetables, but you still need to eat. So maybe you get like a frozen meal instead. So instead of working on that exhausting project, maybe you just do a section of it, or maybe you work on something small scale. Maybe you work on some sketches for another project. Maybe you do something else in terms of the pipeline of that project, but you're still working on it. You want to be able to set aside a few hours of the day, if not 30 minutes, to work on your craft. You want to be on your craft every single day in order to get what you want. It's like eating. You need to eat to survive, and you need to work on your craft to live the life that you want. You need to be on that every single day. And that's the best thing you can do for yourself, because you know when you go to sleep at night, oh, I did that for 30 minutes even though I wasn't feeling my best. Or maybe you're not getting to that thing every day because you have other obligations, but you're setting aside time for the week. You're planning ahead. You're like, okay, I'm gonna block this amount of time in the week to work on that. You just know that you're on the ball. You know that you're getting it done, and you're not waiting for motivation. So when that time comes, you're gonna do it regardless. Okay, of course, if you're sick, if you're ill, you might wanna give your body some rest. We wanna feel good so we can do good. But if we're feeling okay and it's just like our mind giving us like some brain fog, we have to clear that up by just knowing that we're gonna do it anyway. You just have to do things you don't want to do. You can do hard things, and you can do things you don't want to do in that moment. By acknowledging that, oh gosh, I really don't want to do that, but then doing it anyway, it kind of gives you some self-confidence. Oh, I don't want to do it, but I did it. Like, I'm going to continue to grow by doing the things that are important to me in the long run, even though in that moment I didn't want to do it. A lot of us sabotage ourselves. Do not wait for motivation. When it's blocked out on Google Calendar or your planner, you do it, period. My next way to become a disciplined artist is to expand your visual library. This is very important for people who are in the visual arts, especially if you're a storyteller, but most disciplines you need to expand your visual library across the board. Hello, Editing Kiki here. I just want to clarify this point. Expanding your visual library and investing in that process will ultimately help artists become more connected to their project, and will help the artists come across new processes, artworks, and ideas. Invest in expanding your visual library to embrace new ideas, which will make obeying your work time easier and more enjoyable. Our creative process really does make or break our discipline, you know, when it comes down to making the thing. So I definitely believe that expanding your visual library will help enhance your way of tackling your project. In the next few clips, I give a few examples on what that could look like for you. And these are specifically for people who work in illustration, or who are painters, people who are working from maybe a story. Just for anyone else, maybe you are a jewelry artist. Instead of going on the search engine, I recommend you go to maybe a shop. Maybe you're a fiber artist. Maybe there's an exhibition you can go to. You're intentionally going outside. You're intentionally intentionally traveling to that place. You're intentionally making steps to help yourself in your creative process, and that'll make obeying your creative process a little easier and more enjoyable. In general, as creatives and artists, we should be taking in other people's work to help make our own. That's what I was trying to say here. So hopefully this clarifies it a bit more. Technology only tells half of the story. If you're researching something for your project and you're looking on search engines, whether that may be Google or DuckDuckGo, those are just static images that'll come to your screen. However, it will never replace actually being there. So of course, if you can go. Maybe you're an illustrator, maybe illustrating a book on a neighborhood. Go to a neighborhood, do some sketches of that neighborhood. If you're a painter, go to that scene. Everything is controlled by time, so you need to manage your time well so you can fit in these ways where you can expand your visual library. Go to the place, look at the thing, draw from that thing, or take your own pictures. Make your own resource library. I'm telling you to invest in your craft. You are becoming more grounded in the process of making that thing. You become more connected to the space, you become connected with the locals, connected with your project. When you are there, you're making your own resources. If you can't go to that place, go to your library, check out the books on that place. Please go to your library. Maybe just go there, spend like an hour or two at the library going through, if you're focusing on a culture or a country, a book from a photographer. If you're maybe like an illustrator, check out some illustrations through children's books or picture books. Watch movies, whether you're into film or not. Film productions are usually over $100,000 in their budget. Sometimes they're less than that. We're looking at something from the big screen. Most of them have thousands of dollars invested in that film. There are dozens of people who have collaborated on this project. So these are all like quote unquote approved or finished decisions made by tons of creatives. All of it kind of blends in together, right? Maybe you're a sculpture artist and something from Moana really connects to you. This next point helped me out, especially during college when I had very poor stamina working on my craft. So we all use the term stamina when talking about like cardio or something with exercise. You can do it for a short amount of time if you have poor stamina, but if you have really good stamina, you really can go for a long distance. So when you're working on your craft, some people can go for a long period of time, like hours at a time, and they can do that for multiple days at a time, right? Some of us can only go for maybe like 30 to 20 minutes. Sometimes it just depends on the project that we're working on. I recommend timing yourself. You start off with baby steps. I like baby steps, so that's how I work. So you work for 5 minutes. You give yourself a 5-minute break. You work for 10 minutes, and then you give yourself a 10-minute break, and it kind of builds up until you work for 3 hours. I recommend working for 3 hours a day, if possible. Fit that in however you can. There are these nice timed videos on YouTube that are made for studying, but I tend to use them for art making as well, and they've helped me, especially through college when I was working on a whole film. I was like, oh, I can't. The next way to become a disciplined artist is to have playtime with new medium. Apparently, according to everyone else, we have the fun job, right? We have the fun job. It doesn't feel fun all the time, right? We tend to take the fun out of it, or sometimes the client takes the fun out of it. Sometimes at the end of the day, at the end of our work day, there's really nothing left to give. We're like, I don't have an idea. I actually don't want to draw anything at all. I want to lay in bed and not think about and do anything. When you're feeling that way, you are going towards burnout. And sometimes you're in like the middle of a long-term project and it's like, I can't be burned out right now. I need a way to kind of revive myself. And so I recommend play with a new medium. So this is not something that's going to help you progress in your project. This medium has nothing to do with your current project at all. And you are simply just playing and you are having fun because you are experimenting and you don't care what it really looks like. Maybe you're someone who works with physical products, maybe you're a sculpture artist, maybe you make shoes. Do something that has nothing to do with your discipline. If you are a watercolor painter, maybe try sewing or crocheting. If you're a sculpture artist, maybe trying acrylic paints. If you're a photographer, maybe try writing. If you're a writer, maybe try cinematography. And of course these things can tie together, so maybe somehow like the combinations that I did still don't work for you. Come up with something that is new to you, new to your discipline, and has nothing to do with your project. I have to emphasize, nothing to do with your project. All of my advice is surrounded or based on a project, because I feel like in order to become disciplined, you have to have something to kind of work on. My final way to becoming a disciplined artist is to work on short-term projects while on your long-term project. If you are working on a long-term project, you feel like it is long. This may be triggering for those who don't finish projects. I'll finish the tip first. When you're working on a long-term project and you've hit that bump, I do recommend starting something small. Something small though. Okay, for those who start and never finish, this I would proceed with caution. For example, if you're working on a painting and this painting is long, right? You're maybe doing a portrait or a series of portraits or whatever. When you're working on that and you're feeling like, okay, these eyes, I need a break from these eyes. I need a break from painting the toes. I don't know. You just need a break from the painting. Maybe work on a small landscape. Maybe paint something experimental. Maybe that's your playtime. Maybe your small project is your playtime. So block out maybe at the end of your sessions 30 minutes to work on something fun for yourself. So those are my 5 ways to becoming a disciplined artist. For those who are familiar with a workout plan, with going to the gym and scheduling out your days of doing leg days or arm days or even rest days, I do want to emphasize that some days it is important to rest. I understand that it's very hard for us, especially those who work 40 hours a week full-time at their day job and then have to come home maybe to kids, or maybe they have pets, or maybe they just have other obligations. If you're watching this, I'm assuming that you're willing to sacrifice maybe not sleep. I don't want to don't sacrifice sleep. You're willing to sacrifice maybe some leisure. For example, my sacrifice is staying up late. That's my sacrifice. So I still get plenty of sleep. I get 6 hours every night. I wake up at 4 a.m. I wake up at 4 a.m. I do my hour of Bible study. I go to the gym. I arrive there at 5 a.m. I work. I'm a full-time artist, glory to God. So then after the gym, I arrive home, I do my morning chores, I eat my breakfast, and then I'm right at work. And I work through the day, and then maybe 6 to 7, I call it a day. So my schedule allows me to work in my craft the whole day. I feel like the reasons that we're not getting to where we want to be is because we're just not willing to upset ourselves by doing the thing. It really is just simple as just working on it. And so even if you can do just 30 minutes a day, you're still working on it. You're doing more than you were before. All these things are going to propel you forward. You're not waiting for motivation. You're not waiting for someone to save you. You are who you need to be to become who you're eventually going to be, if that makes sense. Tell me ways in the comment section below of how you are disciplined in your own way, or if you have any more tips for other people. Let's support each other during our grind era. And thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Okay. K-I-Kiki out. Okay, bye you guys. Thank you.